you which you would know. Okay, I
Sure.
think we're
I think
live.
our stream, yes, our stream is live now. So, Namrata, hi. Good evening.
Good evening. How's your
So, why don't
Sunday?
you start? My Sunday is going well, thank you. Why don't you start by introducing yourself and I'll do the same?
I think let's wait, Chetty, because I don't
Yeah.
see any audience right now.
Oh, will
Um,
that be visible? Should we?
yeah, yeah. So
Okay, so
we could,
Nupur, why don't you ping us on comments when you want us to formally start?
yeah, I think we will see the audience trickling in.
Okay.
So for the moment, we can just probably, just chit chat while a few people start joining in. Once we have a decent number of people, then we'll introduce ourselves.
Yes, yes. I didn't know that whether we can see how many people are there or not. Honestly, I have not done
Yeah,
this StreamYard thing before, so I don't know.
yeah, me too. But I was just asking her before you joined,
Acha.
and yeah. So right where you have the live, the red tab on the top,
Hmm. Okay.
we'll see, yeah, we'll see the count of people.
Okay. But honestly, Namrata, in reference to menopause, because you are in that menopause phase and I am in perimenopause. So I want to know that it get worse from perimenopause to menopause or you settle down? I'm asking this for the people who are going to watch this video afterwards.
Yeah, I think my experience has been that it settles down, because I think one of the main irregularities we see is in terms of periods, the flow reducing, increasing, frequency of periods, and all of that, which happens during perimenopause.
Hmm.
And that settles down in the menopausal phase. So I think that itself is kind of a little peaceful. And other than that, the other symptoms, I don't think they reduce as such, like, the weight gain or the insulin resistance and all of it. It doesn't reduce, just that perimenopause itself takes a couple of years. So by that time, you figure out how to live with it, how to deal with it.
Correct. So you have to learn to just manage it.
Yeah,
It's not like
yes.
it's worse with age.
It
Because
doesn't.
that's a fear I personally deal with right now. That if I am right now in this stage, is it going to get worse as I grow up or is it going to settle? Which you answered very well. So thank you so much. Yeah, great, great. So it does settle down. That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting.
yes.
Oh, Nupur, if you can hear us, I don't know if she can hear me. Just commented on the comment box for her. Okay, I see a comment.
Okay, I think we can start. That's what we hear from the group. So,
Yes.
yes, okay, so let's get started. I think people will still stream in, but we could slowly start. So,
Absolutely.
yes, so hi, whoever's joining in. Hi, this is Namrata, and I have type 1 diabetes. I've had it for about 31 years, almost 32. And today's discussion is on menopause and perimenopause. And those of you who have been attending these sessions regularly would know that these are all patient led workshops that we conduct in Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation. And these are the personal experiences of people. So here we have Chaiti and me in this workshop. So it's our experiences. So this is not something from a medical practitioner, but something that we ourselves are going through, and we would like to talk to you about it so that if you have any questions, we can help you. And yeah, a little bit about Blue Circle Diabetes. This group is a patient-led community which has been existing for many years now. I myself have been a part of it since many years, and we have been conducting workshops without fail every Sunday for since at least I think 2020, and we've conducted some 250 workshops so far. And this being the Women's Month, we have picked up several women oriented workshops. And menopause and perimenopause, also, as you would know, is something within that sphere. So that's what we're going to focus on today. And for the next hour, Chaiti and I will talk about it. You're most welcome to post your comments or questions, and let's see where that discussion goes. So, Chaiti, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Namrata. Thank you so much. My name is Chaiti Jangla. My age is 45, and I have been a type 1 diabetic over the last 36 years. And yes, now I am in my perimenopause phase. And I'm so glad that Blue Circle Foundation is taking this initiative to talk about a topic which doesn't get spoken about so much. So yeah, I'm going to start now by asking Namrata a few questions. So Namrata, why don't you tell us when did you realize that you are in a different phase of your biological clock in the perimenopause and the menopause? If you would like to share a few pointers on that. So in just to tell you that add the symptoms in so we can all relate to it.
Yes. So I think for most of us who go through perimenopause and menopause, the start is always confusing because you don't really come to know. Like, it's not something that changes overnight, it is very gradual. So, in my case as well, I think probably 3 or 4 years ago, I started having lesser flow, and the frequency reduced a little bit. Like, all of that started building up over time. So I think this went on for some 2 or 3 years, where initially it was less flow, then the frequency also reduced, the duration of menstruation also reduced, and gradually, it went on reducing in my case, which was my symptom. It is different for different people, but in my case, that is what happened. And then eventually I met a doctor to understand what's going on, because I was not like, I expected menopause at a much later age. So that is not what I suspected initially. So I thought maybe it's some, other issue, maybe some, something that I'm lacking in, some vitamins or something. So I met a doctor, and initially those medicines helped, but gradually then, I think after a year or two I realized that this is probably perimenopause. What was it like for you, Chetty? How were your initial symptoms? When did you realize that it's perimenopause?
So, very similar to you, the flow was reducing, and first I thought it was because of COVID, which hit, and people said the vaccine affects your periods. So I was doubting that. I thought maybe it's because of that, but it continued reducing. I did feel the flashes coming, which I knew because my mom has gone through those hot flashes. So I understood, okay, this is what happens when perimenopause hits. And there was a period in my last before 2 years ago. It was like every 15 days I was getting my periods, which was very irritating because I was not having a normal time at all. You are cranky, you're irritable, you are, eating, wanting to eat potato chips, masala chips when you want to control. And I'm of course type 1 diabetic, so you're at least that's my symptom that when my periods hit, my sugars go higher. And then I land up eating also more, like more desserts. I feel like having a sweet tooth. I feel like having all the junk. And so diabetes management and periods management was becoming a big challenge because I was getting periods every 15 days. And of course, all those who do not use a CGMS, at least during your periods, use a CGMS because that kind of helped to at least take more insulin to manage the glucose spikes, to manage the food binging during the periods. So, yes, that was my symptoms to tell me. And now, since I'm aware that I'm in a perimenopause phase, I control my binge eating, I control my junk food during the time that my periods are going to come. But yes, diabetic symptoms and to manage perimenopause gets a bit tricky.
Yeah. So in your case, like you said, with periods and diabetes management, where you have those cravings to eat junk food, do you think that this increased during perimenopause, or this is similar to what you had before with menstruation?
No, no, it had definitely went up in. perimenopause. Menstruation was a breeze for me. Menstruation, I got very few cramps. When I was younger, I am still very active, but I was able to be very active. But perimenopause kind of, so I'll just list down a few symptoms that I have for my perimenopause. One is, of course, the night flashes and irregular periods, which we addressed earlier. And then comes vaginal dryness. So first I thought it is just extremely itchy and it's not normal. And then I read up and I said, okay, this is again a perimenopause symptom. I also thought that because I'm diabetic, my vagina is going to get dry up sooner and I won't have a healthy sex life. But I did use, so I'm going to share what I did as a solution, to each to its own. I used the cream, and there are a lot of vaginal creams available for moisturizing it, and it really helped me, and my vaginal dryness now has gone. So the cream is called Serene, but if you Google it, there are multiple options available on Instagram and on Facebook and on Amazon. So all the reviews can be taken and then decide. Also, this very big symptom is when you get night sweats and you wake up thinking you are hypoglycemic. And at that point, first of all, you're too sleepy. And on top of it, you have to check your sugars. Of course, I wear a CGMS, so it's faster. And then I see that, okay, my sugar is normal, but I'm sweating. I'm waking up in sweats. It's even though my aircon is working. So it's a perimenopause symptom. So again, that is a between diabetes and perimenopause confusion. You have to check your sugars. A big change is my drop in interest and motivation, and I don't care, okay, because I, being a mother, could measure that I am now caring less. And then again I read up about it, that perimenopause symptom is when your estrogen levels drop. So earlier I was a very enthusiastic mother, enthusiastic with my boss when I'm making my presentations. Now I see that I couldn't care less what my boss says. I couldn't care less what my daughter's teachers tell me. Like, I don't care, man, whatever you want to say. So it shocks me, and of course I want to deal with it in a more in a way which I shouldn't lose motivation and care. But I think it also comes a time in a woman's life at this age that you start caring more about yourself, and once you care more about yourself, you'll be able to then spread the care and the love to people around you. Have you ever felt anything like that, Namrata, about your motivation, care going up and down?
Yeah, I think I don't know if this is due to estrogen. I'm hearing it from you, so I'm also trying to evaluate in my own head. But I do notice that in the last year or so, I do care a lot less about anything that goes wrong or not as per my expectations. I do see that change in attitude, but I didn't know this was due to estrogen. I thought that was just about becoming wiser and growing up, and I saw that as a very positive thing because it actually is very peaceful to not care so much about everything, because otherwise you're just like you're getting annoyed about everything. So I'm liking this, that it no longer bothers me, and I just thought that I'm getting wiser, but I now realize that it's due to estrogen.
Yes, I read up about it because it was very not me. It wasn't something I could relate to, that why am I being so, careless attitude. So I had to read up about it. So Namrata, do you want to share what are the things you are doing to, help yourself manage the menopause symptoms? And also if you could add perimenopause and menopause, what are the differences? Like, what is this huge? I don't know when I hit menopause. Like right now, I know I'm in perimenopause. So, what is menopause actually, if you can define it?
Yeah. Okay. So first about perimenopause and menopause. I think I have, like, my perimenopause phase is over since the last 2 years or so at least. Have not had any periods. So I'm guessing now I'm comfortably in the menopause stage. So, in terms of difference, one is about the periods that you're no longer getting periods, so that's menopause. But other symptoms, I really, in terms of hot flashes, the frequency reduces. I feel I had a higher frequency of hot flashes initially, but now I don't get it so often. And insulin resistance is something that started for me during perimenopause, and it is still there. So I don't think that goes away, because one of the things that happens with menopause is that your metabolism slows down. And so, uh, you need more and more insulin to eat the food that you were eating before. So that part remains, that does not go away. I used to have a lot of hair fall during perimenopause, which I don't anymore. So that improved. And weight gain, again linked to metabolism. So weight gain, like, the chances of weight gain are much higher. So doing the same amount of activity, eating the same amount of food, but you start gaining weight. So you have to be careful about working out and not eating too much, and all of that. But I think as diabetics, anyways, we keep away from sugars and high carb foods and all of that. So that way, personally, I feel that when I talk to people, like talk to women who are non-diabetics and who are also going through something similar, I feel that because our calorie intake and carb intake is anyways lower, probably we are able to manage that aspect a little better, is what I feel.
So, do you feel, in addition to what you are saying, do you feel that because you're a diabetic, you were anyway maybe exercising more, walking more, to keep your sugars in check, and that helped you not have severe menopause issues?
I think so, yes. I think I've always been quite active, and I used to walk, but then I think the last couple of years I've also started weight training. I go for Pilates 3 4 times a week. So I think that came in very easily. So that helped. And also the food intake, I think we've always had very nutritious, balanced diets, all diabetics mostly, so even for me. So I think that really helped me being more regular and being health focused. I think that helped me manage menopause better.
That's a very big takeaway from me that, this is a positive side of diabetes where we are so disciplined.
Yeah.
Life has not given us a choice. We have to be disciplined with our exercise, with our food. So when perimenopause hits or when menopause hits, we are, already disciplined, already focused, already mindfully, eating the right foods. So for us, I would like to take it as a big positive that we are focused and disciplined. And that will help women to manage their perimenopause and menopause symptoms. I can take that. Right, Namrata?
Yes, completely agree with that.
And what about any foods that you have added or remove it? So we know diabetes, we remove all the junk, but any other special addition to your diet which you feel that it's helped you?
I don't think so. Diet wise, I've added anything. Um, I think I have, I follow a nutritious diet anyways. So I have been having this smoothie since the last couple of years, which might be helping with menopause, but also overall health, where I try to take in a lot of green leafy vegetables and, a lot of other things, ginger and all of it, mix it, make it into a smoothie and have it first thing in the morning. So I think that helps. But I didn't start it particularly with menopause in mind, just for overall general good health. What about you? Have you tried anything new after, like in terms of food intake?
Yes, I did. I was again following a good diet for myself, but I realized that I needed to add some fats, good fats. So starting my day with soaked nuts, also chia seeds because of omega. So omega 6 and protein. Of course, increased my protein intake because I started weight training over the last 1.5 years, and I see a significant difference in my perimenopause mood swings. If I have done my weight training, if I have done my swimming, Definitely my dopamine levels are higher. I'm much happier. I'm much fresher, and I don't have such mood swings, which otherwise with perimenopause, even if my husband is breathing, he gets on my nerves. So I want to kill my husband. But that time, if I have exercised well, eaten the right foods, I think my mood swings are manageable. So that I have added, and I see a very big difference by doing weight training. Of course, started adding more protein to my food, chia seeds. So that's also, yes, Nupur, swimming definitely is a lot of fun in the heat. So it helps you also, kind of be in a very quiet place and you're just swimming and then you are in sync with yourself, and that will help perimenopause, menopause symptoms. I completely believe it, and I wish all the women who hear us today, if they are not already doing an exercise, activity is different. So I just like to use this platform to say activity is like walking. You're walking and you say, oh, we are taking walks, and that is exercise. But when you cross 45, if you're not having some resistance to your exercise, you're not pushing, that is not exercise. So I don't consider walking to be exercise. I think weight training and swimming or anything, even your body weight, just use your body weight to exercise. Especially those who are above 40, 45 should not consider that walking is exercise. I mean, walk, of course, we diabetics need to stay active, but exercise is when you're doing something else, little more. So that would be, yeah, yeah. Yes, Nehal, foods make
Yeah.
a huge impact on our moods. I agree completely.
Yes. And I would really like to, I chime in on that about exercise in terms of being active, especially after a certain age for men and women both. I think it's very important because I have male friends as well who are around my age who are also going through something different. So I have a feeling that this is something that is not really talked about so much, but it happens to everyone, not just women, but even men have certain symptoms that happen after their 40s. So, for everyone, I think exercise is really very important. And I personally noticed that after I started doing Pilates, my flexibility, my posture, all of that has improved. And I really agree with you on that, that being with yourself in that 1 hour or so that you're exercising, that has a huge impact on our moods and our confidence levels and everything. So of course the hormonal release with exercising happens, and for me especially, after I exercise I have a little time for meditation, and that being quiet for that time really puts me in a very good spot. So with menopause, having to manage your moods, exercise is like, nothing beats it. So please do it, whoever's watching this.
So coming back to some vanity questions, Namrata, about weight gain, right? And I personally have now getting challenged with my weight around my belly. So, it is a tough one to manage. So there are two questions I have. Either you accept that this is how you are and come to terms with it, or is there any hope that the belly weight will come out, will go down? Is there any hope? I'm just looking for a hope.
Yeah, I really doubt that. I think the metabolism aspect. So based on that, I at least in my case I haven't seen the belly weight go down. In fact, I'm seeing that, with anything extra that I eat, the weight goes up so much faster than it did before, and it's usually in the belly area. And that feels so bad because you're doing everything, you're trying to take care of your diet, and you're exercising regularly and everything you're trying to do everything well, but that one party and that, little bit extra that you've eaten goes to your belly, and it feels so bad. So yeah, that is one thing you can't get rid of, unless, somebody from the audience has had an experience and can tell us all how to lose that weight. But at least I don't have an answer to that. I don't think we can. All you can do
So
is probably
then,
change.
Yeah. So brings me to my second part, that what did you do to accept your body the way it is? And tell us one incident where you overcame your body, not body shame is the wrong word, but maybe the consciousness, and you still went out and wore something, maybe, and that kind of helped you. And then I'll share mine. So,
Yeah. I think in my case, I noticed that what you can't do anything about the weight around my, like I can't do anything about the weight around my belly. That's a given. That's something I can't change. But I noticed there were other aspects of my body, like for example, posture. Because I work at my desk all day or whatever, I had a very bad posture, and I realized at least that is something I can change. And in terms of insulin resistance as well, weight training and all of it helped me manage that. So I just looked at what is it that I can change. I tried to change that. There is something I can't. So that way I feel better about myself. I feel that this is, I've already given it my best. I can't do anything more than this. So then I feel okay. I mean, this is something that happens with age, and belly weight is not the only thing. There are so many other things. You start graying, and you start, like, with age, there are so many other things that you are not used to when you were younger. So these changes do come in. So I feel personally that there are some aspects of myself that I'm liking as well with age, that like in terms of appearance, that are good. So celebrate that. And of course, there are times when I wear a very nice dress, which I feel, oh, I wish I didn't have that little weight around my belly. But yeah, can't help it. I think that'll stay. But what was your
true.
experience about this?
So I, of course, I was same way. First, I tried everything, intermittent fasting, 16 hours fasting to lose that belly weight, and weight training, crunches, exercise, everything. I realized in all of that, everything else became better. I became fitter, stronger, happier, and but the belly weight stays. So I said, my arms are looking more toned, my back is looking more toned, my legs are looking more toned, because I got so aggressive with everything, because it kind of hit me that what the hell, why am I looking like this? And then I started wearing clothes which I was not wearing even earlier, which at 35 or 38 I was not wearing those clothes. But now, because I'm so much more happier, fitter, stronger, I'm like, I'm going to wear whatever clothes I want to wear. And I, I think the confidence kind of comes in with exercise, that I'm going to, that makes you really confident about your body and proud of your body. And I think that was a big change. The mental switch happened when I started doing weight training, and, that part of it. And I want to just tell everyone else that, guys, you will wear everything and you want to enjoy wearing those clothes once you start exercising. So yeah, all this is needed, of course. But yeah, like Snehal is adding in her comments, that don't feel shy to reach out to a professional if you need to, get some counseling during these tough times. So yeah, of course, of course. So tell me more, Namrata, about. So I'm still sticking to the vanity part of it. We've spoken about the belly part. Tell me about the skin, and like, I face a lot of dry skin. Even in humid weathers, my skin is like, you can draw like a chalk line on my hands. I face a lot of dry skin suddenly. Any other vanity issues that you have seen and faced and overcome during this perimenopause and menopause phase?
I think so. Dry skin, yes, I have experienced a little dryness. It is not so noticeable because earlier I used to have very oily skin. So I felt this was a little easier to manage, because now I just use more moisturizers and probably go for more pedicures and stuff, which I enjoy. So that part, not so much of a problem. I think vanity issues happen more for me in terms of hair loss, because I've always had a lot of, I've always had great hair, and then I suddenly started losing hair from my crown, so over here, and it's so noticeable. So I mean, it may not be so noticeable on the camera, But to me, when I look in the mirror, I feel that, okay, I used to have so much more hair over here. And I went through a phase where I felt, will I go bald? Like, like every day you see so much hair falling and you feel, what will happen? Like, will this go on increasing, increasing? And will I lose all my hair? How will I look then? So that was a phase. Of course, that stopped after a while. I also went to a doctor and he prescribed some supplements and stuff. And then I also realized that because I have a thyroid issue as well, that was complicating things for me. That got better, so hair fall also reduced. But in terms of vanity, yeah, that was a phase. And I think, I mean, what you said about being able to happily wear dresses without worrying about how, like, your body image and all of it, I think that's a big achievement. And what Snehal has also mentioned, that, if emotionally accepting this phase and all the changes it brings is becoming a problem, then probably we should talk to a counselor, a therapist. It might be necessary, and no harm in that. So in my case, I mean, the hair fall corrected, so I didn't have to go through that. But yeah, that did affect me a lot at that time.
So just adding my two bits to it, yes, my hair started thinning and dry hair, dry skin. I was, and I kept on Googling whether it is diabetes related. And I somehow, being a diabetic, want to blame everything to my diabetes. That, I'm going to age faster, I have dry skin, I have vaginal dryness, my hair is going to look a certain way because I'm diabetic. But of course, it was perimenopause, but diabetes too plays a role in this, right? If it's not well managed sugars, it is going to show in every other way. And I kind of was fighting whether it's diabetes or not, and wasn't very happy about my diabetic symptoms. But yes, also that brings me to my next question is that joint pains, bodies creaking everywhere when you get up, which I again blamed diabetes always for it first. But as I started reading more and talking more to women who are in their perimenopause phase, did I realize that joint pains and body creaking is actually just a perimenopause thing and not to do with diabetes. So we as diabetics have to keep on thinking, is this diabetes related? Is this perimenopause related? Is it a women issue? And I think what I personally feel is that the more I spoke to other women, did I realize that everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's in the same problem. Yes, they may not be diabetic, but it's important to communicate. We as women kind of treat it as a taboo. We cover up. We want to look strong outside and not talk about our weaknesses, even to our families. But I think this joint pain part of it was something that I discussed with a lot of women. And yes, everyone's facing it in our age group. So I think there's a question to you actually, Namrata, because you're one of your symptoms being insulin resistant. Do you all feel more insulin resistant in peri and menopause? If yes, do you need to use something like metformin?
So far, I haven't taken metformin or anything else. I've always I met many doctors about this, and the first the first line of action is to try and control with lifestyle changes. So that's what I've been doing. And at the moment, I see that my insulin resistance is, I mean, it's not so bad, as in, with regular routine food and, exercise and everything, my sugars are as they used to be before. But when I eat out, I feel that, I feel the change there, that when I eat out, my sugars go up much higher than they used to before. And it takes a longer time to bring them back in control, like even a little bit of extra food. So far the insulin resistance is not so bad. But if it does, then I will have to discuss those options with doctors as to whether I need some kind of medicine. But I think, for everyone, in terms of insulin resistance, it is best to try and control with lifestyle modifications to begin with, and not jump to any medicine, because this is not something that's going to be for a while. It's going to go on for many, many years. So yeah, that's my
Right.
recommendation. I think we
So
also missed
definitely, yeah.
we
Sorry,
missed
sorry.
a question from Sanjeevni as well about a specific age bracket for menopause. Do you want to take that, Chaiti?
I think it's different for different women, Sanjeevni. Like Namrata shared, she got it much earlier. In my case, I'm 45 and now I have my perimenopause symptoms over the last 1 year. Um, but because I've been reading a lot, and others can jump in if they want to, that women who have not delivered babies will get it earlier, whether you're diabetic or not. First, I thought because I'm diabetic, I'm aging far earlier and I'm getting perimenopause earlier, but also because I do not have a biological child, that's why it hit me earlier. For some women, it's much later. But one of the research documents showed me that if you've not delivered a child, you'll get it much earlier.
That
So
does make
coming
sense.
back to the medicine part of it, I just wanted to add that I start recently, about 6 months ago, I started with this mulberry extract uh, tablets,
Mhm.
and that has helped me so that my sugar spikes doesn't happen that much. You take the right amount of insulin and this mulberry extract, which is a natural form of tablet. It was heavily marketed on Instagram, so I tried it out. But because I wear a CGMS and a Medtronic pump, I could see and monitor that it's helping me. So if anyone else wants to try the mulberry extract tablets, they specifically give it to help you with your glucose spikes. Especially when you want to eat out, Namrata, just check out this mulberry extract tablets on Amazon. It really helps me when I'm eating out.
How do you take it? Like, do you have them in
Before
the
the
morning
meal.
before food?
No, no,
Okay,
before the meal. So you can
I see.
only have two tablets in a day. So
Okay.
I choose to have it whenever I'm having whichever is my heavier meals.
Hmm.
So I have it, and if I choose to have a dessert, then I will wait for that tablet to be had when I'm going to have a dessert.
Yeah,
So, and I'm traveling a lot. So when I'm traveling, I'm eating out a lot, and these tablets have really helped. So anyone who wants to give it a shot, it's natural mulberry extract. So, check it out.
that sounds really interesting. I'm gonna try that.
Yes.
I think
Um,
we
mm,
have a couple of more questions, and also yes, shout out to Sanjeevni. Definitely, we had a lot of discussions, and we wanted Sanjeevni also to be a part of this conversation, because she had so many great points, and some of the things we're talking about, even in terms of symptoms, is something that we've heard from Sanjeevni. So thank you so much, Sanjeevni, for being a part of that discussion and giving us all those talking points. And
okay. We have
we,
one question there,
yeah, from
Usha.
Usha, yes. I don't know, Chaiti, you want to give it a shot in terms of how many years perimenopause lasts? For me, it was I think 2 or 3 years, but I don't like I did not mark time as such. I guess it is that much for most people. And Usha, if you're getting your periods, you're 50, you're getting your periods, and there has, you've not seen any perimenopause symptoms. I think it's very different across people. And I mean, like Chetty was saying about people who have had kids, not had kids. I've also seen women who have been in very stressful jobs or have had very stressful lives generally, them getting menopause sooner. So there are so many different factors at play. I've also heard about women who their mothers had menopause sooner, and so they went on to have it sooner than their mothers as well. So a lot of different things that come into play. So I think between 40, 50, even more than 50, it goes on for different women. It's different. It's just about noticing when the symptoms begin and managing that. Yeah, so yeah, Nupur, like you're saying, Usha also has a child. So Chaiti, like you were mentioning, that people who've not had kids, maybe for them it is sooner. So because Usha's had kids, it might have been delayed for her.
Yes, yes, I think so. This is an example of what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Also, this what another research that I read was the belly weight that is happening is our bodies protecting our reproductive organs. So the woman's body is not like a man's body; it's very different. So we our body then changes to make sure that our reproductive organs are still safe because they are not performing the way they used to perform,
Yeah.
and that's why the belly weight is around there in the lower belly mostly. At least for me, it's in the lower belly. But
Yes.
yeah, so that was something else that I read about perimenopause and why do we have this belly weight,
I
which
know.
we
Yeah,
have
I
to
read that
overcome.
too. Yes.
Yes. So yeah, that's great. So tell me more, Namrata. Can we get into the emotional aspects and what are the tools that you use, specific tools that help you if you are having any mood swings or irritability? How do you manage it?
I think it's been, firstly it's been exercise and meditation. Meditation really helps me ground and come back to my center, so to speak. So that's been the case. And also being mindful of what goes around. Like sometimes it could be something at work which pisses me off, or different things. Lately I'm seeing that I'm, like you said at the start, I don't give a shit as to what's happening. So those, I think that's been a behavior change. So in terms of irritability, it has gone down. Maybe this is something that is more pronounced during perimenopause, but with menopause it is calming down. But I'm not as irritable as I used to be last year or so. But in terms of tools, I would say exercise and meditation have helped, and being a little mindful of what's going on and do I really want to react to everything. Because you're going through this right now as well. I think we were talking even before the workshop started about how irritable you get with certain situations. So do you want to talk about it? I think you have some excellent points over there. So how do you deal with it? What are things that piss you off, and how do you deal with it?
So, of course, I have a husband and I have a teenage daughter. So those two are my in my closest perimeter. And earlier, I was really reacting to, my daughter, and she was really getting on my nerves because I have teenage hormones and perimenopause hormones. So she is also in a teenage hormonal high state. I am so firstly I had to come to terms with it that my daughter cannot have my reactions. So I started counting. I leave the room and I tell her I do not want to react to what you're saying, so I'm going to excuse myself. So that is a big tool for me. Or I tell her that, listen, you are reacting very loudly and I'm not able to take it. You please leave the room. So it kind of I avoid the very, very bad uh, fights. In terms of my husband, like any other man, he just can't understand what is mood swings, why do we have it? And he's like, every other woman is dealing with it, so you also deal with it. And I don't think he's being insensitive. It's just difficult for them to gauge what the hell. So I just very peacefully avoid him at that time. But like you said, meditation, for me, I'm not able to meditate. I'm very hyper personality. I try maximum 5 minutes I can reach, honestly. 5 minutes is also a lot for me to stay in one place. But what I do is a lot of action. Like if I'm making mala means making a flower garland for God's statue. So that I've started doing that as seva. And that 15 minutes of me making that particular, so it could be any, I wouldn't say mindless job, but any job that you have to focus in that 15 minutes. So I take up my thread, needle, and the flowers, and I sit down when I feel like I'm getting triggered. So that is a tool that I have seen in the last 1 year helping me. And it could be for someone else to make a pearl thread or focus on some embroidery or stitching. So because it's such a minute job, your mind has no choice but to focus on it. And I tell you, my irritability, my mood swings, they just pass because I'm too busy doing that particular activity. For someone, it could be cooking. For someone, it could be chopping, where it is just chopping vegetables in a particular shape is the state of mind becomes completely blank. And that I feel is been my really big help for my irritability because you can't get rid of your daughter and your husband. I mean, all said and done. So I have to, deal with my mood swings, anger in this particular manner. And this tool has helped me a lot.
That is wonderful, actually. And I've also experienced that, not just in terms of menopause, overall, in terms of dealing with stressful situations, trying to engage in something very mundane, something creative. I'm a creative person, so I paint, I do crochet, I do all kinds of creative stuff. So I've experienced that as well. If I switch out from what was bothering me and simply start doing something which I'm quietly doing by myself, don't have to interact with other people, I do feel very, very peaceful. And removing yourself from that situation temporarily, just switching out from that situation, going into a different space and doing something of your own, that really, really helps. So I think that's a wonderful point you brought up, Chaiti.
So bringing back to that only that diabetes also gives you mood swings. When you are low, you are confused, you are irritable. When you're high, also your moods do get affected. And then in addition to that, your perimenopause hits. So and then, I mean, at least this is how I felt. I was like, dude, my hair, my skin, my belly weight, and my child is a teenager. Everything just came together, and I was like, really not in a good space, to be very honest, not in a good space. But like I was sharing earlier, these tools have now, helping me deal with it. Yes, there is a comment on forgetting things and names. Yes, very much. It is a perimenopause thing. I did read up about it on a research thing that I am forgetting a lot of things. But today we have technology to help us. So I'm constantly making lists and stickies and notes in my phone because you're absolutely right, Usha. Forgetting things is a very perimenopause thing. Namrata, any tips on forgetting things?
Yeah, it is. It's technically called brain fog, and it is a menopause thing. And yeah, I mean, like you said, writing down things which are important to you. And frankly, I've seen that I don't forget things which are important. These are, these tiny, tiny things here and there. Like, what was the name of the person I met last week, and those kind of things. It's very tiny, tiny things. So it's not really serious, but it's a little irritating that trying to remember something. And I've seen, again, going back to what I was saying earlier, this is not just a women thing. I've seen men also forgetting things. Men who are around our age, I've seen my friends also forgetting, and they're trying to remember, oh, what was that, I ordered this certain dish in the restaurant last time, I just can't remember. And they'll describe the whole thing, that this is how it looked like and these were the ingredients, but they just can't remember the name. So very yeah, very perimenopause, menopause, age related thing, and nothing serious to worry about. And yeah, just start making lists and writing down things that are important.
But here I'm adding to you what Namrata is saying. Yes, make lists and maybe we don't forget important things. But women, as I'm going back specifically to women, is that we deal with a lot of guilt when we don't do something for our family. So here I'm referring to mothers specifically. We carry a lot of mom guilt and you tend to forget to give something to your child or your child's project or your child's homework. And if you're a working mother and a diabetic mother and perimenopausal, you're so emotional. And I have faced a lot of guilt to forget to give my child what she had asked for, or she had specified that she needed something. Oh, that guilt. That guilt was bad. And, I want to cry that I'm being such a bad mother. That's when I started reading about perimenopause and brain fog. And yes, this forgetting thing. And I'm not going to blame myself being a mad mother. I'm just going to tell myself I'm growing up, growing old, whatever you want to call it. But women out there are all facing the same thing. We all have to know that you're not alone in this journey. When you're in this perimenopausal phase with children, mom guilt, brain fog are going to go together. You'll have to just make up with your child about things you forget. And, honestly, 20 years later, you're not going to remember. The child is not going to remember that, dude, you forgot to give me color pencils for my project. So at the end, it's how you make the child feel. And since this is about women and this month is about Women's Day, I'm stressing more on mothers that, give yourself some empathy, that you're juggling a lot and it's okay to get brain fog and it's okay to forget and forgive yourself, because your child is going to forgive you. They may sulk for a day, but it's important how you react. I would like to make a confession here that I did shout at my child, you have to remember it yourself, why you're telling me? And but then I feel even more guilty that I'm the mother. So I have to, come to terms with my this phase of life of perimenopause, heavily diabetic, and a mother. So reaching out there to all the mothers that brain fog affects the children, what they need. Maybe they'll just become more independent. I hope that brain fog should help.
Yeah, I think you brought up a very important point, Chetty, about being aware that we're dealing with a lot here. Diabetes itself, so many years, and we try to overcompensate, and we try to be normal. We are normal, but we try to be more normal. We feel that we have to be more. And then, of course, menopause hits, and there are all these physical changes, emotional issues, everything. So we need to be cognizant of this. We're not superhuman. We are humans, and there are all these changes happening. Just relax for some time, take it all in, let it settle, and accept ourselves. That we are doing our best. We're already giving our best. So don't get too bogged down by all this, and accept ourselves first. So very good point.
Namrata, we forgot a very important point about tracking our periods. I know your periods have
Yes.
stopped, but I am trying to use an app and make sure that I'm able to track it. And that's how I realized I was getting my periods every 15 days. And I think Blue Circle Foundation has an app for their CGMS, but now they've added period tracking to that app. So if we have Nupur on this call and if she can display the screen for how the period tracking happens, because that is a big, big help, because at least you know when to expect your next period. So when you're getting mood swings and brain fog, you understand when you have it on your screen that, hey, maybe I'm feeling this way because my periods are coming soon. So yeah, thank you, Nupur, for showing us the screen. Okay, there she's clicking on periods. Wow. So the next period is expected on 14th April, it says, because it has happened from 17th to 22nd March. So I think the whole app system kind of calculates over a period of time if you keep on putting your period dates in it. Yeah, there you can see it.
I really like this feature. And looking back to the perimenopausal phase that I was in, I think this would have been very helpful because it shows you the frequency, the duration, and also the history. So typically, like I was saying, since the changes are so gradual, you may not realize. But when you look at the history and you see that you've been getting periods more and more frequently, probably lasting lesser days, more days, this gives you a snapshot of what's going on. So this would be very
So,
useful, even in terms
yeah, so
of
Namrata, honestly, I was feeling really guilty. Why am I opening this packet of chips at
yeah.
11 in the night? But when it comes up on your screen that you're expecting your period tomorrow, then you feel okay. You know what? I'm allowed to have this packet of chips because the period is coming soon. So the app kind of calms you down that, okay, don't kill yourself. It's just a packet of chips. And have some empathy for what you're going through and what's going to happen in the upcoming week. So I think I encourage everyone to please use this. This period tracking really helps you understand your need at that point. So yeah, that point is very good. Absolutely. Nupur is just displaying us the app, and yeah. Wow, whoever's screen that was, I'm jealous. It was 5.8 HbA1c. So I'm jealous. But yeah,
Quite likely
so
Nupur herself.
yeah, must be
Nupur
Nupur
numbers.
only. Yeah, her screen only. Really, but it is a challenge to keep your sugars. If you're an insulin dependent type 1 traveler, just have to try to keep it in. So, any more comments or question? Yeah, Nupur is writing it was her screen. Show off. So, any more questions on perimenopause, type 1 diabetes? Open to answer. Any personal questions also happy to answer.
I think we've covered it all, Chaiti.
Yes, yes. So I think that's true. So to taking over my closing over here, okay, there is one more question before I close. How is life during menopause with diabetes? Namrata, if you can take it up because you have menopause.
I think the only issue concerning diabetes is insulin resistance. So the way I manage is, like I said, my insulin resistance affects me mostly when I'm eating out. At home with normal food, normal activity, and everything, my sugars are quite fine. So the way I manage it, I've learned. So one thing I noticed is, I don't know if this is insulin resistance for everyone or this is happening typically during menopause only. But what I saw is, if I'm eating a little extra, little more than what I eat at home, my sugar doesn't just rise despite my taking the correction dose, but it stays up for a longer time. So what I have started doing, and I also spoke to some people before doing it, is that I split my correction dose. So if I'm eating out, I take some extra dose for it before eating, but I also check a couple of hours after my meal, and then based on the blood sugar, then I take an additional correction dose, and this has been helping me. But overall, I know that eating out or taking in so many more carbs ultimately is, probably not healthy. So overall, I've reduced it. So I don't eat out so much as I used to. But like you said, Chetty, if you have to travel for work or for pleasure, whatever, you do end up eating sometimes. So, portion control and exercising around that, I think those tiny, tiny things here and there, depending on the situation, have been helping me. But I'm figuring my way out. Right now, what I do is this. Maybe I'll learn some new things. One thing I learned from Chetty is about the mulberry extract, the tablet, which I'm going to try.
Yes, please do try it. I encourage everyone to try it. I think we are at the end of our questions now. So I want to say a big thank you to you, Namrata, for being part of this conversation with me and being so honest and candid. And of course, thank you to the audience and a reminder to everyone to follow Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation on social platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and the blogs. And please attend all the local meetups in your cities. The list of the upcoming events can be seen on the events tab of the FB group, FB group Diabetes Support Network India. So, guys, please do that. And I know Blue Circle Foundation is doing a lot for us diabetics, and we should also support them. So,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Chetty.
Namrata.
Yes.
Take
Thank you.
care. And thank you, Nupur. Thank you, Snehal. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chaiti. I think you have some very interesting points that you raised, and thank you, Sanjeevni, as well for all your help with the research.
Yes, yes.
And
Thank you, Sanjeevni.
yeah, I think blue circle diabetes, honestly, what I like is that this is patient led, and this is not something coming from the doctors. This is our own experiences. So it feels more believable. So people do try and follow and be part of the meetups and groups as well. And thank you to the audience for such wonderful questions. And if you have any more questions after this, do post on the chat and we will try to answer.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Thank you all. Bye
Thank you.
bye.